Wait, is everyone ready?
I'm ready. Ready?
Okay. Yes, and then Paul McAndrew, not Joe McAndrew, should you be looking for? Pour it in there.
It says Joe on it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's Paul and
Sweet.
Joe.
So, you know what really peeves me off, guys? Fairweather fans. Fairweather fans are the demise of all great things about sports, right? I mean, I don't know if you like sports. You can take that into theater, art, you know, you name it. There's Fairweather fans to everything that you've got here. What I've got here is a great symbol to many individuals as a cultural icon in some great city in the Midwest called Chicago. This is Wrigley Field. And it's usually about half full come the second half of the season because the fans just decide that they don't need to go see a losing team anymore. And it's really sad. It's really sad. But really what I want to get at today is that, you know, Fairweather fans ruin professional sports teams. They also really hurt communities' economic development. They also increase social costs and burdens on the community. So, we go to the next slide here. This is an example of winning teams, right? We've got the Pistons and the Bulls up at the top. You see the fans in the crowd? You know, Isaiah's going against MJ. It's a packed house, and it's electric, and everybody's up and cheering. And then down here at the bottom, you got the Florida Marlins. After they've won one in 2003, taking a cruise. I had to control myself. There were some inappropriate photos with some people at this parade. But, you know, you see all the fans, they're excited for their team. And then look what happens. Look what happens. Nobody wants to go to the game. Up there in the upper right, Rasheed Wallace. Very, very upset. Big, big man. Down here on the bottom, the Florida Marlins can't even get people to come to their games anymore. They haven't had a very, very much of a winning season since then. And then up here in the upper left, this is really what the problem is. You've got parents, the father there with the yellow hat, with an Arizona Cardinals jersey on. And clearly, the Cardinals must be losing, so he's decided to put the opposing team's shirt on his son. So his son is all of a sudden going to become a Minnesota Vikings fan, just because they're losing. That's the definition of a Fairweather fan. You only go cheer for the winners, and you're not willing to stand behind your team when you're not doing so well. And there's some economic as well as there's just some very, very large consequences when this happens here. So franchise is ruined by its Fairweather fan base. You've got three examples here. The San Diego Chargers, they've been winless since 1963. The Cleveland Indians, you might not be the king to him anymore in Cleveland, but this is back when he was with Cleveland. LeBron James went to a New York game wearing a New York hat against the Cleveland Indians. And that might explain why the Cleveland Indians haven't won a World Series since 1948. Then down here at the bottom, I just wanted to make it a little local here. Portland Trail Blazers. This was right before tip-off at their old stadium, and they haven't won since 1977. There's a lot of economic benefits that come to a city when they go to the postseason. You know, you've got people buying jerseys, beer, food, you name it. It really helps out. It really helps out the community there. And so the real case study that I wanted to point out here today is the team that just can't get it. They can't get it together, and it's not because the GMs, the general managers, the owners, they've tried. They've invested heavily in the team, but it's because the Fairweather fans. As you see up here in the upper left, you know, we have Hillary Clinton back when she wanted to run for president. She thought that she would go ahead and run it out of Chicago. Now, that doesn't work out, so she just changes it up and picks the winning side. New York Yankees, the most winningest team in baseball, some might say. Then down here on the bottom right, you have these guys that are just crying after Bartlett. And what was that, 2005? Bartlett picked up the ball from Moises Alou down the sideline. And, next thing you know, they lose. The Cubs haven't won in 103 years. 103 years. I've got friends here from Chicago. They can attest. This area around Wrigleyville is downtrodden. It's terrible. You know, nobody wants to go there outside of baseball season. So this is what you get. You get an effect on the community that hurts because the Fairweather fans just won't stop their shenanigans. Before the season begins, you have an economic boom. Your standard of living is up, and your alcoholism is at its lowest peak, or lowest levels of the whole year. And then within 2 weeks, the fans just leave. As soon as the teams, have lost their first 3 games in a row, they're out the door. What do you have? The economy's tanked, unemployment's reaching record highs for the year, standard of living goes down, and alcohol consumption goes way up to the point where the jails are overpacked. It's really bad. Social as well as economic concerns here. So, what's the possible remedies for these teams? I'm sorry, but there's really just not a lot available because the Fairweather fans, no matter where you go, they'll always somehow show up. And you can't keep them out. They'll dig under the fence, they'll come over the fence, they're there. So teams, if you're a fan of a if you're a fan of a team that has too many Fairweather fans that doesn't allow you to win, there's nothing that you can do. And don't come cheer on the St. Louis Cardinals, please. We don't need you. So, does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Why are you such a St. Louis Cardinal fan if you're from Iowa?
Why?
Is that what Iowa people like?
No, because at a young age I knew, that they knew how to play the game the right way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they also have a very good fan base. Packed crowds, fans don't leave if they're down 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th.
Does Iowa have a team that you like?
Yeah, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Do you like them?
They're phenomenal. Yeah. Okay. They're all winners, though. I only pick winners. Any other questions?
Sounds like a fair weather.
No. I've been with them since I came out the womb, It's the way it works. Any other questions? All right.